Listen up. This is a message for all the kind-hearted folks who have spent months feeling utterly bamboozled by the smoke and mirrors created by those close to Jack and Lilly Sullivan. It's as if we've been painted as a bunch of village idiots, blindly swallowing every tale spun around this tragedy. Well, buckle up, because we're about to tear down that fabricated narrative. Watch as it crumbles before our eyes, replaced by the unvarnished truth that demands to be revealed. No more illusions, only cold, hard facts from here on out. Firstly, let's rip to shreds, once and for all, the narrative of abduction. Let's just throw it out the window, okay? Let's step back, though, a minute and look at the investigation as it has progressed. Most of those following the case know that the police have said right from almost the beginning, no abduction. It was also their reasoning for never issuing an Amber Alert. They didn't issue an Amber Alert because there was no abduction. In cases of missing children that escalate into criminal investigations, the scope of possibilities becomes significantly restricted. If abduction has been ruled out, it raises the specter of foul play, including homicide, which remains a serious consideration. This situation may involve parents who have misled law enforcement, employing deception and manipulation to create a false narrative that their children are missing. In reality, they may have granted permission for someone else to take the children. Such actions would expose these individuals to a wide array of criminal charges, underscoring the gravity of the situation and the need for thorough investigation and accountability. Let's look at the possibility of homicide. That isn't too far-fetched, considering the fact that at the end of the very first week, police stated it was very unlikely the children would still be alive. Do you remember that? And what did they do? Did they go into the bush with cadaver dogs, believing that the children had wandered off, gotten lost in the woods, and perished? No. They packed up and left, and then essentially focused on what has become a criminal investigation. All right, so let's cut to the chase. The police are zeroing in on this missing person case with an unflinching eye, hunting for any signs of criminality, homicide, or evidence the children have been knowingly relocated. And that last piece, knowingly relocated, is the very narrative that stepfather Daniel has been spinning. What Daniel fails to grasp is that when the police declare no abduction, they are making a definitive statement about the nature of the situation. The concept of abduction hinges not on whether the children are familiar with those who took them, but rather on the critical element of consent. If a parent did not authorize someone to take the children, then it is unequivocally abduction. Conversely, if consent was given, and yet a narrative has been spun, claiming the children are missing, leading to one of the largest searches in Canadian history, then that raises serious legal ramifications. In this scenario, someone could be facing a host of grave criminal charges. We are committed to examining every angle of this case with unwavering scrutiny. The truth demands to be uncovered, and we will delve into the complexities of consent, deception, and the potential consequences that lie ahead. This is not about just finding the children. It's about ensuring that justice is served and those responsible are held accountable for their actions. The community deserves answers, and we will pursue them relentlessly. So let's take a look at a couple of the things that Daniel has said. These are messages that have been taken off the web. They were sent to me. I'm not sure of the actual origin of them. I am confident they are from Daniel, though, because it goes hand in hand with exactly the same narrative that he has been spinning all the way along. So he says it's not an abduction, meaning the individuals or parties involved knew the kids. Well, it's time to wake up, Daniel, and smell the coffee, because that is incorrect. In another message, he says, like, what kind of person or people destroy a kid's future? Videos are on the internet forever. My kids will see all this and say, Dad, WTF, are all these people going on about? Jack and Lily will see all this, and none of it is their fault. It's sickening. Even the Globe and Mail, Canada's national newspaper, picked up on these narratives by Daniel when they say in their article, which was just published on August the 9th, but then a profile that the Globe has previously communicated with Daniel on also appears in Facebook chat groups frequently, offering up riddles and conjecture that the children were taken by someone they know and are being held prisoner. Quote, as long as I remain the target, the sick person or persons that have the kids may relax and make a mistake. Our CMP better capitalize on that. So here's some information for Daniel and anybody else that is still questioning this. The key factors that make this act abduction include lack of consent. The parent or guardian did not give permission for the child to be taken. Knowledge of the child. The relationship between the person taking the child and the child matters, but the absence of consent is the primary factor that constitutes the offense. If the individual has a prior relationship with the child, it may be considered in the context of the case, but the act itself, taking the child without consent, would still fall under the definition of abduction. Legal consequences can vary based on the circumstances, including the intent behind the action and the relationship between the parties involved. So if police are saying no abduction, if they actually believe the children are still alive, what that then says is that the children have been removed with consent. Here's that section under the criminal code. Abduction of person under age of 16. Every person who, without lawful authority, takes or causes to be taken a person under the age of 16 years out of the possession of and against the will of the parent or guardian of that person or of any other person who has the lawful care and charge of that person is guilty of A, an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for a term of not more than 5 years. Or B, an offense punishable on summary conviction. Definition of guardian. In this section and sections 281 to 283, guardian includes any person who has in law or in fact the custody or control of another person. So let's look at the idea of consent, where the parents gave somebody consent to remove the children. In Canada, falsely reporting children as missing or abducted when they were actually removed with consent could result in several criminal charges. Number 1, public mischief. Criminal Code Section 140, which is making a false report to police that causes them to begin or continue an investigation. Maximum penalty of 5 years imprisonment for indictable offense. 2, obstruction of justice. Criminal Code Section 139, which is willfully attempting to obstruct, pervert, or defeat the course of justice. Maximum penalty of 10 years imprisonment. 3. False information. Criminal Code Section 437. Providing false information with intent to alarm. Various penalties depending on the circumstances. 4. Fraud. Criminal Code Section 380. If resources were obtained through deception, like police services, penalties vary based on value of resources wasted. The severity of charges would depend on the extent of police resources deployed, duration of the false report, motivation behind the false report, any prior criminal history, impact on public resources and community. Courts take these matters very seriously as they divert emergency resources from genuine cases and cause unnecessary public concern. Penalties can range from probation and community service to imprisonment, depending on the severity of the case. The Globe and Mail also reported on August 9th, the disappearance of Jack and Lilly has become a complex and intensive major crime investigation. So where are we at? With abduction discounted, there's only 2 explanations. 1, removal with consent. 2, homicide or fatal concealment. Both carry very serious criminal charges and very, very serious prison time. So those close to Jack and Lilly Sullivan can spin whatever narrative they like, but we've broken it down. And now you know the facts. There are only 2 possibilities. There isn't anything that is like no abduction because the children knew who they went with. Doesn't exist. It does not exist. There's only 2. And both indicate criminal charges.